So I think we should expand on this Proverbs 22 and dip into 23 a little bit. We need this word by Mishpachah. There's some things I realized that I kind of skimmed over yesterday in the last video, and I didn't really talk about a few things I seen that I skimmed over that needs to be discussed. I want to remind you that this book of Proverbs, I don't know what your thoughts are on it or what you think about it, but if you're like I was and you think that this is just random bits of wisdom that was just written down like a log, like filed away in a file cabinet by Solomon and David or whoever, you're wrong. I assure you. I assure you that this book of Proverbs is a map that you must understand. You must see that it's a map and follow its instruction in order to live. They're not just random pieces of wisdom, although it's full of wisdom, yes. But let's look. Remember, notice how this chapter starts out. Verse 1 says, a good name is preferable to great riches. Okay? This whole chapter is about you becoming part of the family, coming home, doing what the Most High tells you in His Word, being humble and obeying His Word, subjecting yourself to Him, and learning the way home. Part of finding that good name, of possessing that good name, which will come from humility, you subjecting yourself, bowing your knee to the Messiah, to the Word, and following the Word, the Lamb, the way, the life. Doing that what the Most High desires you to do. It's going to come from humility, and which, if you can do that and obtain that, you obtain all the riches and esteem and life. And that's the only place you're going to obtain any of them, okay? And verse 5 says, thorns, snares are in the way of the perverse. This is letting us know that there are thorns and thistles have grown up over the highway, over the way home. So those words are key words. They're just code words. This is all parables and riddles. This is a riddle. Proverbs is a riddle. And you must understand what it's saying. Thorns, which is a snare, was set up in the highway. It said that Nebuchadnezzar practiced divination at the gate. That's why down here it says, do not oppress. Where's it at? It says, do not oppress not the afflicted at the gate. Right here in verse 22. Oppress not the afflicted at the gate. Right before that, you get the context, he's saying, have I not previously written to you of counsels and knowledge? So what's he talking about? What knowledge, what counsel is he talking about? He's going to tell you right here. To cause you to know the certainty of the words of truth, following the Lamb, to return words of truth to those who send to you. And okay, what's those words? Do not rob the poor because he is poor. This isn't talking about money. He just told us what the great name is, where the riches and the esteem is. Don't rob him of his great name, of who he is, where he belongs, where his home is, where his inheritance is, what it is. And how they've done that with the divination at the gate. They've oppressed and they've caused affliction at the gate. What afflicts us is the gate. whether or not we see the gate. That's why in Revelations it says that the gates to the city are single pearls. They're a single pearl. It's not made out of pearl. It's a pearl. It's a metaphor. It's a riddle. It's telling you that a certain truth is the gate. A certain great pearl of truth. And a pearl, to get a pearl, you got to go to the bottom of the ocean and get a clam and pry open its mouth and dig it out of its mouth. So it's not easy. It might not be hard for some, but it's not something that just anybody can do. And it takes work. You don't just stumble upon it. You have to work for it. So you have to be an investigator. That's what this is all about. That's what the whole word is about, is you investigating it. That's that hidden manna that the Messiah talks about in Revelations. He would give us the hidden manna. You have to investigate, and you have to do, and that is what the Most High desires. He desires you to tremble at his word, be a lover of his word, and long to be in close proximity with him. Literally. This isn't a game. This is for real. And so, and he says, for Yahuwah pleads their cause and shall plunder those who plunder them. We've been plundered of our home, our inherited land. And remember, right down here in verse 28, it says, do not move the ancient boundary which your fathers have set. So remember, the beginning of chapter 22, it started out talking about that great name, and that it's preferable to all the riches and all the esteem. It is where the life is, and all those riches and esteem is. And that there's thorns have grown up over the highway, over the path to home, to where you can't see the gate, you can't see the boundaries. They've been hidden from you. They've been moved. Now watch what chapter 23 says. When you sit down to eat with a ruler, look well what is before you, and put a knife to your throat if you are a man given to appetite. What's he mean? Why is he saying that? So you don't look stupid and eat a bunch of food? No. Do not desire his delicacies, for that food is deceptive. Once again, this is a riddle. These are riddles. He's not talking literal food. What is the food? It's the word. When you sit down before a ruler, someone or something that rules people, and what we're talking about is someone who handles the word of the Most High, because that's the food. That's the words of treachery. They either use the word for the good of the people or for treachery to murder the people. So when you sit down, when you're near someone who's dishing out the word, you better contain yourself. Put a knife to your throat if you have to, if you're given to appetite. Don't desire what he's spitting out, because it's deceptive. It's deceptive. Do not labor to be rich. Cease from your own understanding. The reason he said what he said in verse 4, the reason he said that, do not labor to be rich, cease from your own understanding, is because the food that's deceptive, that ruler is dishing out, that you need to stay clear of, it's going to teach you to labor to be rich and to follow your own understanding. Yes. Do you set your eyes on that which is not? Which is not. Where have we heard that before? On that which is not. For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away like an eagle to the heavens. Okay, if you're someone hearing this and you've amassed a great nest egg and you're set up, you got a nice house, your grandkids are set. You got plenty of money. When you're elderly and you get to the point where you can't take care of yourself anymore, if you make it to that far, if you're in your 80s, upper 70s, 80s, and all that wealth, that nest egg that you amassed, what can you do with it when you're in a nursing home or you've got your children aren't there to shower you? I mean, you're at that point. You don't care about all the. Have you ever met a person in that predicament care about all the wealth they got and all the money, the riches? One way or the other, your wealth is growing wings and it's flying away from you. You're not going to have a grip on it. One day you're going to loosen your grip and all your wealth is leaving you one way or the other. And hopefully it's not before then, and you just get straight up robbed of it one way or the other, or before you have to when you're old. Your kids or your grandkids don't swindle it out of you, because that happens every day. There's someone right now that's upset over their inheritance. Ain't that funny that we're talking about inheritances? I work, I'm a contractor. I work for individual, people at their homes, on their property. And I've often get into conversations where children don't want their dad or mom, who's in their 70s or 80s, that has worked their whole life to amass a big house and all the money they have, and they hire someone like me to do some work for them. I've seen the younger kids, I've seen them sitting there just itching for their parent to croak so they could get all that money. And I've seen it happen. I've seen them parents croak, and I've seen them children get what their mom and dad worked so hard for, and then sell it, and then it become like a big Walmart or something someday, and it ain't nothing like their parents had envisioned it would be. It flew away from them, and it'll fly away from them greedy little kids too, that do that fight over what's said in the will and who's getting what and who ain't. I've seen so many disputes over that very thing. So that is what happens. So don't set your eyes on none of that, because you ain't getting none of it. You're not getting none of it. All it's going to do is take you further into Sheol, to hell. For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away like an eagle to the heavens. Do not eat the bread of one having an evil eye, nor desire his delicacies. This is codes. Let me remind you again, this is a riddle. It's not talking about literal food. He's talking about the word. So anyone who is dishing out the word, talking about the word in any form, in any way, whoever it is, don't eat nothing they're saying. If they have an evil eye. Now let's think about what would constitute an evil eye. Okay. If you're not getting told, if your pastor, your shepherd is not teaching you to bow your knee to the word and follow the Lamb wherever he leads you, if your shepherd isn't teaching you that Abba Yahuwah is the boss, and he is to be revered and respected and all esteemed on your face, and that we don't call the shots, and none of these holidays, none of this blasphemy is acceptable, and we have a home, we have a place, there's a place where the Most High set his name, and all through his word he tells us that we have to go there. That's what he desires. He desires for us to return and take our inheritance, our inherited land, and not stay over here and pay mortgage and rent over here in Babylon and keep the Babylon wheels a-churning. That's not what he desires. He desires for you to come home and sit on your throne where you belong. And the truth will guide you right to it. That's the key of David. That's the reason you put the blood on the doorpost. You have to, and it's the reason they ate all the lamb. You have to give it all you have. You have to read all the word and take all the word. Do all the word. Follow all the word. The lamb. And that's why in Revelations it says the lamb was the only one worthy to open the scrolls. The scrolls are the prophets. It's the books. It's telling you that once you realize that you have to follow the lamb, that you have to go to a actual place, Jerusalem, the true place where his throne is, and at the appointed times do that which is continual, and that you have an inheritance. If you say you're a member of the family, or whatever it is you say, the church, whatever, you are to have a piece of land that's your inheritance. In the name, you're supposed to go there and dwell in the midst of your family and your father. Follow the word. Bow your knee to the word. That's what it'll tell you. If you bow your knee to the word all the way, no exceptions, you will end up in Jerusalem on the appointed times. You will keep the Shabbat. You won't work 7 days. You won't work on the seventh day of the week. You ain't gonna eat blood damn near every meal. You're going to curb your lust for blood and for meat. And if you're bowing your knee to the word, you're not gonna be cool with hearing a bunch of perversion being talked about when it comes to the word and the Most High. You're not going to be fine with that. You ain't going to be cool with that. I know I'm not. I can't just sit by and listen to someone talk smack about my father and blow smoke up his ass. No way. I don't want nothing to do with that. I don't desire anything coming from anyone with an evil eye. An evil eye is just what I explained it to you. It is. Anything that's looking in the opposite direction. That's why it says in Ezekiel that they had their back to the Hakal and they looked east. Anyone looking in the opposite direction of home and where your dad is, where your father is, your creator, where the hole of the pit that you were dug from, and doing what he desires, any direction other than doing what he desires is evil. Don't desire any of his delicacies. For as he reckons in his life, so is he. Eat and drink, he says to you, but his heart is not with you. That's what he reckons in his life. Just eat and drink. Just as long as we get to eat good and have a nice house and a couple cars and pay our payments, as long as we get that, we don't care what's going on. That's not riches. That's death. You're in the grasp in the grasp of Babylon and the beast and the image of the beast, and it's taking you down. It's give you just enough to wet your whistle that you're okay with, and it's conned you in, suckered you into a toilet bowl of death. Eat and drink, he says to you, but his heart is not with you. All them pastors that got an evil eye, that aren't telling you the truth that you should stay away from, they act like they're with you. They're not with you. Because they're not going to tell you the truth because they don't want you to leave because they want that money. Yes. You vomit the peace you have eaten and lose your sweet words. That's what happens to you if you stay eating at those tables. Do not speak in the ears of a fool, for he treads on the wisdom of your words. All them guys. Anyone in there loving that nonsense, they're fools. And it's rare that someone's going to come out of that and listen to the words of truth, the certain words of truth. Because it's going to go against their paneled houses. Do not move the ancient boundary, and do not enter the fields of the fatherless. The fields of the fatherless. Anywhere but home is someone, if you choose to live anywhere other than home and doing what the Most High tells you to do, you're fatherless. You don't have a father. You might say the Most High is your father, but he's not really your father. He said, if I'm your loving father, where is my esteem? Where is it? Where's the fear of me? How come you don't even care about your home, the place I place my name, my throne, where we are to meet at the appointed times? Where are you? Who are you? I don't know where you're from. That's what's saying. That's what's being said to you. And you're in the field of the fatherless. For their Redeemer is strong. He shall plead their cause against you. Their Redeemer. Yeah. What they believed that all they had to do was say that Jesus was their personal Lord and Savior. Now they're good. They're going to live it out in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And that's a wrap. And they're going to be twinkled up into space to live on a cloud forever and ever. Somehow, some way. I don't know what they think, but it ain't real, and they're not looking at it like it's a reality. They're looking at it like it's never going to happen until they find themselves in that nursing home where they can't wipe their own rear end, and then the fear of what's going to happen next starts setting in. And I guarantee you, none of them are sitting there thinking, man, I wished I would have had more money. I wished I would have had a bigger house, a nicer car. They're probably thinking, man, I wished I wouldn't have been an asshole, or I wished I would have spent more time doing this and that. They realize they wasted their life for nothing. And the only moving on in prosperity that there is, the only way for you to move on into prosperity is for you to move on into prosperity to the only place that exists, and that's taking your inheritance, being like Jacob, not being like Esau and refusing it. Bring your heart to discipline and your ears to words of knowledge. There you go. Discipline. You have to go to Jerusalem, the city where the Messiah was impaled. You have to go there to that place on the appointed times, the Passover, the feast days. Do not withhold discipline from a child. If you strike him with a rod, he does not die. There you go. Wink, wink. This is a riddle. He's not just telling you that you must discipline your children. He is saying that too. But his children, all his children, they must be brought back into the flock if they want to live. Because if they don't, they're going to fall off that cliff and die. Strike him with a rod and deliver his being from Sheol. My son, if your heart shall be wise, my heart rejoices. Even I and my kidneys exalt when your lips speak what is straight. Why would his kidneys exalt when your lips speak what is straight? Because the kidneys represents what you eat, the bread that you eat. If you're sitting at the table with the ruler and eating all his delicacies of deception, your kidneys are going to be corroded. They won't be exalting. When you eat the bread that comes down from heaven, the bread of life, the Lamb, the way, the truth, the life, the instructions, with love, with humility and fear, that's when your kidneys exalt. Do not let your heart envy sinners, but be in the fear of Yahuwah all day long. Aye, aye, Captain. For certain there is a hereafter. For certain there is a hereafter. And let your expectancy not be cut off. Hear, my son, and be wise, and guide your heart in the way. Be not among heavy drinkers of wine, or with gluttonous eaters of meat. Gluttonous eaters of meat. If you have to have meat every meal damn near, you are a glutton for meat. No animal should have to die just to satisfy your craving. It's blatant disrespect of the Most High and his creation. It's not supposed to go down like that. This isn't a bloodbathing, meat-sucking, do whatever we want party, where we're supposed to walk with respect and out of fear and humility, not just taking whatever we want and refusing what we are given in our inheritance. For the drunkard and the glutton become poor, and slumber puts rags on a man. Slumber. If you slumber in the word, that's another thing I wanted to say. Back there in chapter 22, it says, I think it's right around the boundary part, he says, at the very bottom, it says, do you see, let's read 28, it says, do not move the ancient boundary which your fathers have set. Do you see a man who is skilled in his work? He does stand before sovereigns. Okay, there's only one real sovereign, and that's the Most High, and a sovereign, you could say, is his word, the Messiah, the instructions. And so what your work is to fear the Most High with humility, tremble at his word, understand the riddles, break them down, investigate, do your due diligence in retrieving the truth from the word and researching it and sharing it, caring. That's your work. So anyone who's skilled in that work, he stands before sovereigns. He does not stand before obscure ones. He doesn't stand there in front of people that's only about the Benjamins, the dollars, baby. They're sitting there, they're selling you the word, and they're only giving you a little bit of the truth. They're never telling you anything that's going to make you walk out that door, because they got their hands in your pockets. They want what you have. They're not telling you who they really are. The image of the beast isn't telling you who they really are, that it's the congregation of Satan, those who say they are Yahudim, Jews, and do lie. They don't tell you that. Those are those words of treachery. They keep telling you words of treachery, convincing you, coddling you, fondling you, luring you into the pit of the deep. Listen to your father who brought you forth. Your father. Listen to his words, what he says. And do not despise your mother when she is old. Your mother is Jerusalem, the place where the Most High placed his name. That's the wife of your youth. That's your mother. That's why the enemy uses the words Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, or whatever. They transform the earth to make to the boundary. They transform the boundaries and the names and everything to fit it, to make it their own, to make it their own earth with those thorns and those thistles to fool you. And don't forget, don't be mad at anybody, because ultimately the Most High does it all. He makes both good and evil. He formed this decoy in order to gather all the fake, all the posers, and only the real family members, those who really love the Most High and their brethren and actually fear him, will come to the place of salvation, the ark, if you will. But like I said before, they don't make boats to ride out fires. We're going to be seared in, just like the Passover lamb. In the city, in the eye of the storm, Jerusalem, we will be seared in. The blood will. The blood is the family. We will be seared in. By the truth, and do not sell it. All those people out there that ain't telling you the truth, they're like those Catholic priests. They got a dark suit on, a black suit, but they got a little bitty speck of white by their throat, symbolizing that they speak righteousness. But it's just that little piece. You got to eat all that dark. If you're sitting at their table, you're taking all lies and hiding of the truth. Anyone who can't tell you the truth because they're worried you're going to leave and they can't, and you're going to pull their hand out of your pocket, they're selling you the word, and they're only selling you enough to keep you there. They're never going to tell you all the truth because their top priority, number one priority, is the money in your pocket. Whether they believe that or not. You know, I believe that a lot of these pastors and churches and people in churches and stuff are actually, they just think that that's how it goes. They think that prosperity is putting money in the offering plate and getting a better PA system or something. I don't know, you know, and it's not. We're supposed to go home. We're not supposed to celebrate Babylon and paganry. Wisdom and discipline and understanding. The father of the righteous greatly rejoices, and he who brings forth a wise one delights in him. Let your father and your mother rejoice, and let her who bore you exalt. The wedding supper. Boom, right there. Let her who bore you exalt. Let Yerushalayim become marvelous in your eyes. Long for the return, to return to it, and do what what the Most High desires, and be with your family at the appointed times. My son, give me your heart, and let your eyes watch my ways. It says right there, and let her who bore you exalt. It's talking about your mother. My son, my mother saying, our mother is saying to you, my son, give me your heart and let your eyes watch my ways. How to get back home to it, and what it is, what we do, the people, the family of Yasharal that live there, that dwell with our Father in our land, what we do, how we walk, how we hold ourselves, how we operate. We operate by the word. Knees bowed, face down, all esteem, all praise, all honor, all glory to Abba Yahuwah, the Most High, our wonderful Creator, our righteousness. That's it. And we watch our ways. We don't go to the pit of the deep. We stay away from the pit of the deep, from all the lies and the BS. For a whore is a deep pit, and a strange woman is a narrow well. That's what Isis, Ra'el, Jerusalem has created. But it's the Zionists, it's the Rothschilds, it's all those people who worship Satan. They follow the doctrine that he created, the doctrine of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Your own choice, your own understanding. That's what they create. She too lies in wait as for a prey and increases the treacherous among men. There you go. It's just increased treachery around the world. The world don't care about their inherited land, their kingdom. It's a fantasy to them. They'll say, yeah, we're kingdom, whatever, preppers, whatever. But they don't care about a kingdom. For real. It's just a joke to them. So what she does, that strange woman, that hoe of Babylon, she's increased treachery. Who can stop themselves from being fondled by the image of the beast and Babylon? Who has sorrow? Who is sad? Who laments what has happened to our comely home and longs to return? Who has contentions? Who has a problem with going home? Who has complaints? A lot of people, don't they? Who feels hurt without cause? For who has redness of eyes? Those staying long at the wine. Those going in to search out mixed wine. Those staying at those tables full of all that delicacy of deception. Staying there just drinking all the bullshit and remaining in a drunken stupor. and searching out more of it, more folly. There's people right now that are there's probably a whole team somewhere of Bible students that are searching out more about speaking in tongues, babbling, or slapping someone with a coat and healing them. Just nonsense with no truth ever being researched. Do not look on the wine when it is red, when it gives its color in the cup as it flows smoothly. It's the wine that they sold you, you bought it because of appearance. You didn't buy it because of how it's going to nourish you, how it's going to be good in into your body and make you joyful, cheerful. You didn't buy it because of that. You bought it because it sounds good. It goes with the Joneses. It keeps up with the Joneses. It's not going to, the wine you're buying from these pastors, this delicacies of deception, you're buying it and staying there, buying it from these people because it keeps you in the loop of Babylon with the Joneses. If you search for the truth and find it and start speaking out, living the truth, you're going to lose the Joneses. They're going to walk away from you, and yeah, it's going to be fun. In the end, it bites like a snake and stings like an adder. All them rapture theories, all that nonsense, it's leading to death. Your eyes look on strange women. Your heart speaks perversities. All that stuff, the raptures, all that, it's perversities. And you shall be as one lying down in the midst of the sea, and as one lying at the top of the mast, saying, they struck me, I was not sick. They beat me, I did not know. When shall I wake up? Let me seek it again. Seek what again? Seek Yerushalayim again, your home, where you belong, the boundaries. Anywhere other than within the boundaries, you're like one being in the midst of the sea, the top of the mast, saying, they struck me, and you're saying, I did not know. That's what you're going to say when it's too late, when the door's shut. You're going to say, well, I didn't know that I had a home. Yes, you did. You had the word on your thigh, just like I had, and everyone else who's handled the word. The only difference is mine has been cocked and loaded. 16 in the clip and 1 in the hole. I'm ready, baby. I'm no longer okay with living a lie. I demand the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And if you're speaking anything other than the truth, it's wickedness and error, and you can miss me with all that. You can kill that. I don't want no part of any of that nonsense. I don't care how good it sounds. I don't care how good it tastes. If it ain't the truth, if it's just more Babylon, you can keep it. And the excuse that you did not know is not going to fly. McFly, wake up. Seek Yerushalayim again.